the Old Bull and Young Calf Boston Sports Podcast, and we are still here. It is May 23rd, and we are on game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Big game, and I put it in the title. We got to reverse the curse. The biggest enemy of the Celtics this postseason has been game 2. Major win after game 1. That was probably the biggest kick in the balls they've gotten from the playoffs, where they were able to battle back. So I'm really curious, Dad. How are you feeling about game 2 with the curse? Or would you even call it a curse?
Well, a mini curse, right? And it's either a curse or a mini curse or a free coincidence that they've lost game 2 of both their first series, and it's the only game they've lost in each series. So
Yep.
It's a huge game from this regard, right? Have they learned their lessons? To the Celtics, they're still kind of young. We're always asking, have they learned lessons of their past, right? So this doesn't go way back to previous years, but recent memory will let them know, hey, what is the deal with game 2s at home? You get that first win, you're complacent. Did they learn their lesson and not come out like it's a regular season game, kind of like they did in the first two game 2s of the first 2 series, where they're just giving up open 3-pointers left and right and all that? And, so I'd like to see if they've learned that lesson.
And here's the biggest thing. The biggest difference between this game 2 and the others is that that was the closest game 1 we've had. Both other game 1s, we kind of just blew the doors off of them. It looked like we were going to start to do that at the start of game 1. I think it was like 12-0 at one point. So it's really big. Hopefully it was the reality check they needed, and they've touched the stove, kind of stepped on the rake. Maybe this is what we needed to get a sweep. I'm not saying I'm hoping for of course I'm hoping for a sweep, but I'm not saying there will be a sweep, but maybe stealing that game was the trap game. And now they can play to this opponent to how they should be played. And I think the biggest thing and biggest takeaway was that there's a lot of nerves going on, right? Especially on the Pacers side. They're a really young team, and ball pressure showed to be so important at the end of that last game. And shout out to Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday, I think, played the most minutes in game 1, and he was like glue. He was pretty much an accessory to Halliburton's jersey at the end of the game, and it made a huge difference. It's the only reason we're up 1-0 right now. So fingers crossed. Yep.
So ball pressure, that leads me to a point I want to make, right? I didn't get on them much because they actually ended up pulling the game out. But I tell you this, if they did lose that game, that first one, I would have been all over them for once again being in the playoffs and not treating every single defensive possession like it's the last minute of a tie game. You see what they're capable of, right? When Jaylen Brown hit that enormous shot, the Pacers had almost 6 seconds left. If you go back and look at that, everybody was just locked in. Tatum was ultra locked in, where Halliburton just had to throw up almost a half hook, no prayer 3-point shot. Why are we not playing defense like that every defensive possession? It's the playoffs. So I let them off the hook because they ended up winning. Can we go back to doing that? They show it at times in these playoffs, but it's like sometimes they win too easy and they get away from that. Play every single time like that.
Yeah, and they really got to be the defense that this team hasn't faced, this Pacers team. The Pacers went from playing the Bucks, who had a Damian Lillard and Malik Beasley backcourt, to playing the Knicks, who had a Jalen Brunson and a Dante DiVincenzo backcourt. I mean, we had both of our guards finished in, I think, second All-NBA, right? They got to play like it. And you know what's really going to be big is, and this is kind of where Porzingis comes in, is it shortens up the minutes a little bit for everybody, because our guys are playing a lot of minutes. And I know they had a ton of rest, and that's not a great excuse, but our bench has to show up. Tillman is back in tonight. I think, my condolences to him. He lost his dad. Really sorry for him and his family. Hopefully Missoula will give him a shot. Tillman's minutes have been super restricted this season. This postseason. I think here's the one thing, and every time I think about adding Tillman to the mix, this is what gets me, is that the Pacers, I think, require smarter defense than any other team we've played so far, and possibly any other team we're going to play, because the amount of assists they have. We talked about this before last game. I think they're like 6 assists per game above the next team, and their average assist is above our playoff high assist by like 5 or 6. So Tillman sliding in, maybe that's why they go to Cornette and Horford. They have a hard time, with those defensive concepts. I don't know.
I'm glad, like you segued perfectly into what I wanted to say next, which is, this is where I'm a little critical of Joe Mazzulla again. At no point really during the regular season did he experiment with a small lineup. So
totally agree.
This feels like the perfect team where they're so fast, they're so good at passing. It would be nice to know if we can run with a small lineup with putting Jacoby Brissett in, right? And then maybe putting Tatum at center and just so I'm hoping the Celtics get a big lead and maybe Mazzulla plays with that a little bit to see if it could extend the lead. That's what I would like to see because, man, did Cornette look exposed on defense? Did Horford look exposed on defense? And, Pritchard's not a big guy, but, oh, man, did him and Hauser, did they struggle out there? So hopefully they all watch film. They get a better idea of what the Pacers are doing, and they buckle down a little better. But, man, Porzingis, he's not quick like like a small, but he's so long that he doesn't have to be ultra quick to affect shots. So that's why it'd be great to get him back.
And that's the thing.
Let's see.
You hit on the head, Dad. We have pretty much when our stars in the court, we have 4 switchable 1 through 5. I would put Derek White on Miles Turner. I would put Jaylen Brown on Miles Turner. But for some reason, we're letting those teams get those matchups. I don't know what Mazzulla has to do about being like other teams and getting around screens better because we don't get those matchups very well ourselves. And other teams are getting around our screens. So Mazzulla has to get in the lab and figure out what's the problem here. Every team we have faced so far in the playoffs have set these incredible, completely legal screens, that they're definitely not moving on. And they get wide open and they get a switch on our big. And then our big is stuck playing defense every single possession. And it drives me absolutely nuts. Al Horford is 38 years old or something like that, 38, 37. And you got him he's playing defense every single defensive possession. And it happened to him last series. And you can't rely on Al to do what he did to, Garland in game 5. Like this poor guy, I'm almost never going to get on Al for his defense. And you can hate me for that. You can do whatever you want, but whatever we get from him, we get from him. It's up on Tatum, Holiday, White, and Brown to get through these screens and help because we're thin at that center position. You're right. Cornette looked exposed, but I don't know. Like our team defense has to be better.
Especially, when Horford's playing 40 minutes. Like when's the last time he probably hasn't been asked to play 40 minutes in a game in years. And, even if Cornette looks exposed, you have to give him more minutes. You can't run. He was 3 for 12 from 3-point land, probably because he's gassed and he has no legs. The guy, he's awesome. He's like small doses. Al is amazing in small doses when he has energy and he's got health. And I don't know. It's just Mazzulla. Hopefully they drew up some adjustments, and they look a lot better tonight because my deal, Matt. The even games of the series are the biggest ones. This is game 2. It's a completely different series depending on this day. We're up 2-0 in complete control, or it's start over again with them having home court. It's an enormous. We got to roll
the red carpet. We got our buddy Ron Stevenson in here. Ron, welcome for game 2. Game 2 pregame. It's good to see you, Ron. Ron just walked through game 1.
Top 5 fan.
He's like that was a lock. So Ron's here for the tough one, and this is I think the one we need you on, Ron. If you look at the description, we're aware the game 2 curse is real, and it's time for this team. Like my dad said, they were able to show on Tuesday or Wednesday. They were able to show on Tuesday that they can win the clutch. Now, can they show that they can win in game 2? And Dad, circling back to what you said, and you bring up a great point. They killed the Big Al last game real bad. And Ron, I'm curious, from your perspective, but I said there's no way I'm blaming Big Al. Big Al is giving us more minutes than any 38-year-old has given anybody in the playoffs. What I will say is my dad brought up, when is the last time Al Horford has played 40 minutes? The last time he has played 40 minutes is March 5th, 2023. So that is last season. in
Oof.
March. Didn't do it all last year in the playoffs. And that was before we had Porzingis. And he was asked to do it last night. I know he had a bunch of legs, but we'll see. Go ahead, Dad.
I got something scary
Oh
for you
no.
too. We really need to win tonight because you know what I just found out also right before the show. The Pacers, even though the Celtics are the road killers, the Pacers haven't lost at home since the middle of March.
Okay. All right.
They haven't lost at home since the middle of March. So I still feel good. The Celtics can take 1 or 2, game 3 or 4 in Indiana, but it'll be tough. It's not going to be like these other teams. So where we took both of them against Miami and Cleveland.
Yep.
So we need to win tonight. We need to keep
real
that
quick
home court.
before I address that and quell that negativity, right? Because the Opals coming in hard to have negativity. Saved it all from the post game. We got Rich Brooks in here. Rich, I appreciate you, man. Go Boston. Heck yeah, man. I like the energy. Simple, straight to the point. Ron completely agrees with Al Horford, and they didn't play him much. They didn't pay him that. They didn't pay him to yeah, really. Al Horford is taking a team-friendly contract, and he's giving us team-friendly minutes. Now, my dad just said something. When's the last time the Pacers won at home? What'd you say?
Okay. March 16th is the last time they've lost at home.
So here's something. Guess the Cavaliers. They have not, prior to game 3 last series, they had won every Donovan Mitchell home game since early January. And they lost, and that loss was in overtime. The Celtics went into their house, beat them back-to-back games with Donovan Mitchell. They didn't have Jared Allen, but we didn't have Porzingis, right? So, listen.
Okay.
It's a different ball game in the playoffs. Halliburton showed us that. He's got the yips. He's dribbling. He's kicking the ball out of bounds. When's the last time you've seen a player dribble a ball off his knee out of bounds, Dad?
Yeah, I mean, someone as skilled as him too. So, keep Holiday on him. Absolutely. And, hopefully we get that kind of Holiday again. Let him do his thing. He knows when to step in, to step out. I trust that man so much. Give him a bigger role as opposed to being the 5th guy out there. This is what we got him for, and no Porzingis in there. We need that extra score. Derek White's in a bit of a slump. Love him. But, man, let's face it, he has not been a Derek White at the beginning of the playoffs. So, we need him. We need someone to step up besides Tatum and Brown. So, Jrue Holiday, keep pushing, keep getting him the ball, keep posting up these smaller, softer Indiana players. That's what I want to see.
Nothing. This is what we're here for. Okay, my dad and I just did some fluff for this is a pregame show for Ramona's show. Ramona's here, and she said they may have not lost it.
Another top 5
fan.
They
may have not lost since March at home, but this is also playoff basketball. You have to be able to defend your court at a whole different level. Let's go Celtics. That is completely correct, Ramona. And Ramona, I think someone needs to remind my dad that the Celtics have not lost away. So in the playoffs. So and this Pacers team,
I dubbed them the road killers.
This Pacers team has beaten hobbled Bucks team, and they also beat a very hobbled Knicks team, and that's.
And they almost beat a very good Celtics
team. They almost
beat
a very good Celtics. Yeah, they caught us slipping a little bit, but I think this is a big game tonight. I'm really excited. Thank you so much for that input, Ramona. Big game. This game does usually start. It's a bit different than hockey. It's hard to tell. So, yeah, go Celtics. Dad, what's your prediction?
I do predict they're going to win tonight, and I think they're going to win easily. I'm hoping they're showing signs of starting to mature. So I'm hoping this is another small lesson they've learned. They can't fall asleep after winning game 1, and hopefully they put emphasis on that, and they do that tonight. And people, thank you so much for subscribing to our YouTube channel. You got us over the 100 mark. That means a ton to my son and I. We love you guys so much. It just, you guys are just amazing. Thank you. Matt, what do you think happens tonight?
And I think we definitely get the win tonight. I think our team's going to be more locked in than ever, and I think we're really going to ride that high. I'm really curious to see how the Pacers respond to kind of getting punched in the mouth, and I think we definitely take advantage of it. So let's do that. And I will say, like my dad said, we started this just because we wanted to interact with one person. We wanted to add value to one person's life, and we really appreciate everybody else coming in and adding value to our lives and talking to us about the things we love. And it's greatly appreciated, and it's great to get to know a lot of my dad's friends. And I hope you become my friend through this podcast. And we got one final comment from Ron. They got to keep Tatum and Brown fresh, not play so much together for speed. My dad said it doesn't have to be a sweep, but we got to be healthy leaving this series. Of course we have to win it, but we got to be healthy leaving this series. So yeah. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Go Celtics. We'll be here after the game.
Go Celtics. See you.